Hey, Megavan, and welcome back to another ASMR video. This is going to be a book reading one because I mentioned that I was going to do something like this later, and I accumulated some books, so a good amount, and I kept them on me. Otherwise, I gave it to one of my skeletons, and oh hey, this is some of the new music that I got from the mod. So that's good that that's playing. So I guess I'll hang out over here. You can hear some light raining. I'll just read it right here. Just in case Sven decides to sing again. So here's my Purloined shadows. Okay, these are some good books that I could read. Okay. Alright. So this is probably one of my most favorite books in this game, The Purloined Shadows. Right now I can't remember if this was one I remember from Oblivion or if it became my favorite book here in this game. I want to say Oblivion. Yeah, I think it was either in this game or in Oblivion. I can't quite remember, but yeah, listen to that music. I love that. Okay, Purloined Shadows by Wayan Yarth. Chapter 1. The candle was lit, and the thief was standing there, blinking, caught. She was young, rather dirty, wearing ragged black clothes that were surely quite smart and expensive weeks ago, when she had stolen them from one of the city's best tailors. I love the little twist at the end of this too, so yeah, be ready for that. The look of surprise slipped from her face, and she took on a blank expression as she put the gold back on the table. "What are you doing here?" the man with the candle asked, stepping from the shadows. "That's a stupid question," the girl replied, frowning. "I'm obviously robbing you. Since nothing I have is missing," the man smiled, glancing at the gold on the table. "I would have to say that you are not robbing me. Attempting to rob me, perhaps. The question I have is, why? You know who I am, I assume. You didn't just come in through an unlocked door. I've stolen from everyone else. I've taken soul gems from the Mages Guild. I robbed the treasury of the most secure fortress. I cheated the Archbishop of Julianos." You know, it's funny, it's called Julianos, but the J's here, is it the J? Yeah, the J's here pronounced like Y, like Jarl. So this is not pronounced Julianos, but it's pronounced Julianos. I even pickpocketed the Emperor Pelagius at his coronation. I thought it was your turn. "I'm flattered," the man nodded. "Now that your ambition has been thwarted, what will you do? Flee? Perhaps retire?" "Teach me," the girl replied, a little grin finding its way unconsciously on her face. "I picked all of your locks. I slipped past your wards. You designed them. You know how difficult that was for someone without training. I didn't come here for 6 gold pieces. I came here to prove myself. Make me your student." The master of stealth looked at the little girl. Burglar, your skill is not in need of training. Your planning is adequate, but I can help you with that. What is without hope is your ambition. You are past stealing for your livelihood. Now you steal for the pleasure of it, for the challenge. That's a personality trait which is incurable and will lead you to an early grave. Haven't you ever wanted to steal that which can't be stolen? The girl asked. Something that would make your name known forever. The master did not answer. He only frowned. Clearly I was a fool. By your reputation, she shrugged and opened a window. I thought you might want a willing accomplice on some great act of thievery which would go down in history. Like you said, my skill and planning is only adequate. I didn't have in mind an escape route. Is it route? I think route. An escape route. But this will have to do. The burglar slipped down the sheer wall, dashed across the shadowy courtyard, and within a few minutes was back at a room in the run-down tavern. The master was waiting for her there, in the dark. I didn't see you go past me, she gasped. You turned on the street when you heard the owl call, he replied. The most important tool in the thief's repertoire is distraction, either planned or improvised. I suppose your lessons have begun. And what is the final test? The girl smiled. When he told her, she could only stare. She had, it seemed, not misunderstood his reputation for daring, not at all. Chapter 2. For the week leading up to the 8th of Hearthfire, the skies above Rindale were dark and alive as clouds of crows blotted out the sun. Their guttural squawks and groans deafened all. The peasants wisely bolted their doors and windows, praying to survive that most unholy of days. On the night of summoning, the birds fell silent, their black, unblinking eyes following the witch's march into the glen. There were no moons to light the way, only the leader's single torch in the gloom. The white robes appeared as indistinct shapes, like the faintest of ghosts. I love this new music, this new tavern music. Listen, I love it, absolutely love it. I'm going to give credit to who did this. I cannot remember his name, but check the link down in the description box below, and I'm going to leave the link to that person's mod who created the music, as well as I have another mod that changes the combat music just to give it a little bit, just to change things up a bit. And both the tavern music and the battle music are absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to leave a link down below to both mods to give them both credit. A single tall tree stood in the middle of the clearing, every branch thick with crows, watching the procession without moving. The lead witch placed a torch at the base of the tree, and her 17 followers formed a circle and began their slow, strange, wailing chant. As they sang, the glow of the torch began to change. It did not diminish at all, but its color became more and more gray. So it seemed a pulsating wave of ash had fallen on the witches. Then it grew darker still, so that for a moment, through the fire, though the fire yet burned, it was dark as night in the forest. The penumbra continued until the torch was burning with a color without a name. Oh, I love it. Emptiness beyond mere blackness. It cast a glow, but it was an unnatural scintillation falling on the witches. Their robes of white became black. The Dunmer among them had eyes of green and ivory white flesh. The Nords appeared black as coal. The crows watching overhead were as pure white as the witches' cloaks. The The Daedra Prince Nocturnal stepped out of the pit of uncolor. She stood in the center of the circle, the tree of pallid crows her throne, aloft as the witches continued their chanting, dropping their robes to prostrate themselves naked before their great mistress, wrapping her night cloak around her. She smiled at their song, spoke of her mystery, of veiled beauty, of eternal shadows, and a divine future when the sun burns no more. Nocturnal let her cloak slide from her shoulders and was naked. Her witches did not raise their heads from the ground, but continued their hymn of darkness. Now, said the girl to herself. She had been up in the tree all day, dressed in a ridiculous suit of mock crows. It was uncomfortable, but when the witches had arrived, she forgot all her aches and concentrated on being perfectly still, like the other crows in the tree. It had taken considerable planning and study between her and the Master of Stealth to find the glen and to learn what to expect in the summoning of Nocturnal. Gently, silently, the burglar eased herself down the branches of the tree, coming closer and closer to the Daedra Princess. She let herself break her concentration for just a moment and wondered where the master was. He had not been confident in the plan. He said that when Nocturnal dropped her cloak, there would be a distraction. And it could be quickly taken in that instant, provided the girl was in position at the precise moment. The girl climbed along the lowest of the branches, carefully pushing aside the crows that were, as the master said, transfixed by the princess in her naked beauty. The girl was now close enough. If she only reached out her arm to touch Nocturnal's back. The song was rising to a crescendo, and the girl knew that the ceremony would soon be over. Nocturnal would clothe herself before the witches ended the chant, and the chance to take the cloak would be over. The girl gripped the tree branch tightly as her mind raced. Could it be that the master was not here at all? Was this conceivably the entire test? Was it only to show that it could be done, not to do it? The girl was furious. She had done everything perfectly, but the so-called Master of Stealth had proven himself a coward. Perhaps he had taught her a little in the months that it took to plan this, but what was it worth? Only one thing made her smile. On that night when she had stolen into his stronghold, she had kept one single gold piece, and he had never suspected it. It was symbolic as stealing the cloak of Nocturnal in its way, proving that the master thief could be robbed. The girl was so lost on her mind that she thought she imagined it for a moment when a man's voice yelled out of the darkness, "Mistress!" The next word she didn't imagine. "Mistress, a thief, behind you!" The witches raised their heads and screamed, ruining the sanctity of the ceremony as they charged forward. The crows awoke and burst from the tree in an explosion of feathers and toad-like cries. Nocturnal herself whirled around, affixing the girl with her black eyes. "Who art thee who dares profane?" the princess hissed, as the pitch shadows flew from her body, enveloping the girl in their lethal chill. In the last instant before she was swallowed alive by darkness, the girl looked to the ground and saw that the cloak was gone. And she answered, as she understood, "Oh, who am I? I'm the distraction. You got it. So the master thief, used her as a distraction to steal the cloak. He was well aware that she took the coin from his desk, but knew that she would get pissed off that he wasn't there, and just because of her pride would begin to gloat and get distracted by her gloating that she stole a single gold coin from his desk, and he seemingly did not realize it, even though he did. So I love that story. Okay, so I guess I will read another one. The Ethereum Wars. I think this is worthy of reading because for my next Let's Play, that's like way in the future. I think it might be, I'm already at level, or not, I'm already at episode, I want to say like 22 or something, 21 or 22. Right now it is July 23rd. But like I said, I'm releasing like a few at a time every week. So, yeah. So anyways, the Ethereum Wars by Tavern, dedicated to Katria, my friend and colleague. Now, this quest, all I'll say is you get to pick one of 3 prizes at the end of this. So, for the quest itself, I already have in mind what I'm gonna pick, but I won't say. It's probably the one almost everyone picks. Maybe unless you're playing like a spell sword or a battle mage, I could see someone picking something different. The end. I was gonna say, it starts off with the end. The end. When it came, wait a minute, did I miss something? Oh no, I didn't. The end, when it came, was swift. In the span of 3 short years, the great dwarven cities of Skyrim, from Markarth to Valathi Mountains, fell before the armies of I King. Cities that had held fast against the Nords for over 100 years crumbled abruptly and without warning. For centuries, scholars have marveled at the sudden collapse of the dwarven city-states. Even the Nords seem to have been taken by surprise, though the chroniclers were quick to ascribe their success to King Gilair's inspired tactics and the blessings of Shore. My research suggests a much different cause, however. In the decades preceding their fall, the dwarven cities of Skyrim had been decimated by internal disputes and infighting over a most surprising cause, Aetherium. Modern scholars know Aetherium as raw, luminescent blue crystal found in some Dwarmer ruins. Yeah, it's a type of metal, but like has magical properties to it. Most consider it little more than a curiosity, as it has proven all but impossible to work with. While it has a strong magical aura, it is alchemically inert, and no known process can enchant, smelt, mold, bind, or break it. To the dwarves, of course, such problems were merely a challenge. In the years following King Harold's reign, the Dwemer discovered a considerable source of Ethereum in their deepest delvings. And for those who don't know, Dwemer in this game is another word for dwarves, so like dwarven. An alliance of 4 cities led by Thems, which is the ruins I'm going to have to go to, the great research center in the southern reach, was formed to oversee its extraction, processing, and study, and a new Ethereum forge constructed to smelt it under precisely controlled conditions. If the inscriptions I discovered are to be believed, the results were nothing short of spectacular. The items produced by the forge were artifacts of immense power, imbued from the moment of their creation with powerful enchantments. The Dwarven alliance shattered almost immediately as the 4 city-states and their rivals attempted to claim the forge. We can only speculate that none were successful. Decades of conflict merely weakened them all, allowing for King Gilar's subsequent conquests. And though the Dwemer reclaimed most of their lands a century later, there's no evidence that they ever resumed their research on Aetherium. Perhaps the costs had just been too great, but nothing like the Ethereum Forge described in the inscriptions has ever been found within the borders of Skyrim. It may have been destroyed long ago, but the Nord invaders, or the Dwemer themselves, or perhaps it, like the secrets of Ethereum itself, still remains to be discovered. And there we go, that's it. So,
How's about it, Frank?
I hope you all enjoyed, and look, yeah, you will notice that Shivan is not playing anymore because I have a mod that actually makes bards not play at midnight, between midnight and early morning, so that's good. Yeah, so that is it. If you're watching this and you're sleeping or relaxing, I hope you have a very nice sleep, very relaxing and a very relaxing sleep and have pleasant dreams. And if you're just resting, I hope you have a really nice, good rest. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. You guys should know that, well, when and if I'm fortunate enough to hit 500 subscribers, I'm starting to get kind of close to that. I will do a special. You can even check my about page for that. And I've updated my like upcoming and current Let's Play list on my about tab, so do check that out. But at 500, I'm going to do another special Let's Play of Morrowind, another 4 to 6 part episode of that. So if you're intrigued by that and you come across this, then please hit that subscribe button. You can check out the other, I want to say I have about 3 or 4 episodes of Morrowind already. That was when I hit, I think it was like, I want to say 450 subscribers. So at 500, it either was 400 or 450, I can't remember anymore, but when I hit 500, I'll do another 4 to 6 episodes of that. It's a special Let's Play, and thank you to, all of you guys. So, if you do subscribe, thanks so much. I greatly appreciate that. It just means the world to me. I really enjoy doing this. I have a lot of fun, and I just hope for anyone who comes across this, if you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoy playing my games and just doing this, and just making the kind of videos that I do. It helps encourage me to make more, and yeah, so that's it. Thank you. Thanks, guys.